Hello video editors, and welcome to video number 3 in our series. Today we're going to be talking about library management. I know you're raring to go with this, so let's get started. Let's talk about the arrangement of your projects in Final Cut Pro. Hold on, time out here. Just a second before we get going on that one. Before I talk about library management, I need to talk about one other thing real quick, and that's your hard drive. I would strongly encourage that when you edit video, you edit to an external hard drive. That means one of those little drives, kind of like this guy right here that I have plugged into my computer. Plugs into usually your USB port. The reason for this is you're likely editing on a MacBook Air, because that's what most people have, which typically don't have very big hard drives. And editing video, as I mentioned before, you'll use your hard drive space up in a hurry. So I'd recommend you get an external hard drive. What you should look for in a hard drive, I'm not going to tell you specifics, because it's about the time I tell you a specific thing to get, someone will come out with something newer and better and cheaper. So I'm not going to do that. I will simply say this as by way of an example. My internal hard drive on my computer goes at a certain speed. The external hard drive, it's a typical one that I would get, a cheap one if I got it, is about 1/5 the speed. So if I was to work on something and say I wanted to export out of my computer, if it took 10 minutes to export out of my computer, if I was working on that external hard drive, it would take approximately 5 times as long, 50 minutes. So be aware when you're buying a computer of the write speed. That's the thing that's most important when you're buying an external hard drive, the write speed. Chances are you're going to have to get an SSD drive to do that, but I just wanted to point that out. When working, please use an external hard drive. Get one that's fast. You'll have to balance speed with cost. But anyway, back to the previously playing video. There are basically 3 parts to a way the file is organized. There's library, there's events, and there's project. The library is a big folder that contains absolutely everything. It contains all the media you pull in. It contains your edits that you've made. It contains anything like transitions or effects you put on it. It contains everything. So think of that as a gigantic folder. Within that gigantic folder are events. Now, a best way to describe events in here, or say I was contracted by my local town to do videos of the summer programs. So each summer program is an event, like the 4th of July fireworks, or they have a mountain biking festival here in the summer, or they have a classic car drive-in. Each one of those things would be an event. So maybe I wanted to do something with the fireworks. My event, I'd call it 4th of July fireworks. Within that 4th of July fireworks event, I might have several videos. Maybe they want me to make a 30-second promotional video. Maybe they want me to make an overview of the whole thing. And maybe they want me to make a video of just the fireworks. Those are the projects, 3 projects that would be contained within that event, along with all of the media for that event. So all the video I shot from that day, any graphics, any logos or whatever, all contained within the event. All those events are contained within the library. Let's look at the computer and see how that works. So here I am on the computer and I have nothing loaded. So I can either open a library right here by clicking on Open Library, or I can go to my file window and do a new library. First thing it does is ask me where I want to store it. I have a big hard drive on my computer. I can store things internally on my hard drive because when I got this, I made sure I had enough storage space for that. So I can put it anywhere I want on my library. Let's say I want to put it on my desktop. I can call it whatever I want. Like pretend my summer events. I call it summer, hit save, and now I have up here my summer library. And it created an event based on today's date, 2/12/21, for me. I can call that event anything I want. Let's call it fireworks to keep with that theme. So now I have a library called summer and I have an event called fireworks. Maybe I want to do within this library another event. Or yes, within this library. This one we will call bike festival. You'll notice when I create a new event, I can set settings I want for that event. I can go with automatic, or I can use custom settings. Say I know I'm going to shoot everything in 4K. I'll just select 4K. Or maybe I'm going to shoot everything at 1080p. I can set that ahead of time. Or I can just say use automatic settings, and it will use whatever file I bring in first. It will set settings based on that file. So Call it Bike Festival. Okay, now I have 2 events in here, Bike Festival and fireworks. So that is basically how you set things up. Now I want to import media. I can import things into the Bike Festival. I can import things into fireworks as I will, and it will store it within that event, within that library. Let's go real quick over importing media, and then we'll be done with video number 3 and ready to actually go on and do some editing. So I just clicked without saying what I was going to do. I clicked on import media, which is here if there's nothing in that, or right up here in the top left, that down arrow does the same thing. So I navigate to wherever my media is stored. Say it's on my desktop, and I want to pull in this screen recording. Right there it is. Something that I just captured. You can navigate to anywhere. If it's your external drive, just navigate to that. On the right-hand pane are all sorts of things about how I'm going to import it and where I'm going to import it to. Whatever event I had selected, by default, it's going to list it as putting it in that event. I can drop that down in any event I have in this library. I can put it. Maybe actually I wanted it to go to Bike Festival. So boom, now it's going to do that. Or I can create a brand new event right here if I want. By default, it says copy to library. I would recommend you always do this. What will happen is the footage, wherever it is stored, it will then copy it into this library. If that is not checked, it will not copy it into your library, which is not a big deal unless you start getting stuff pulled in from all sorts of different files and media folders. They can get very confusing as to where they are. If you copy to library, it brings everything into one centralized location, and then you have it all there. I'd recommend doing that. You can put keywords on it. We'll get into keywords later on. You can have it analyze your video, balance color, or find people. When find people, it's not looking for individual people. It's seeing how many, 1 person, 2 person, 3 people. That's what finding people is. Transcode. This is an important thing. If you have create optimized media selected, it will take whatever media you bring in, and it'll bring it in any format. I mean, it doesn't care what format the original is, but it will transcode it into a format that is optimized for use with Final Cut Pro. So Final Cut, it's basically a Final Cut Pro friendly format, so that while you're editing things, it will be able to work at its optimal speed without having to slow down. If you do create optimized media, just be aware that optimized media can be sizable. So it will take up hard drive space. I recommend, if you have the hard drive space to do optimized media, it'll just work smoother as you're editing beyond that. And create proxy media is a way of, it creates really low quality versions of those if your hard drive space is really at a premium, or if your computer is struggling to keep up. Proxy media, it creates small size files that were easier to work with. So I generally don't do that because my computer doesn't need it. Optimized media, I do it because I have the space. You can change the codec if you want. I'm not going to do that. And frame size. And then close window after starting import. So when I click import selected, this window will go away. If I know I want to import multiple things from multiple places, I'll leave that unchecked. So that is how you import media. I have this one clip selected. Say I wanted to bring in 2 clips. I can have this one, and if maybe I want this one, if I hold down my command key and select that, it will select only those 2. If I want a whole range of them, if I hold down my shift key and hit that one, it will select everything in between, which I don't want. For the sake of this, I'm just going to bring in that one clip. So when I click import selected, I have close window unchecked. Now it is importing it. It didn't close the window. If I had this checked, it would have closed it. I'm going to close this window. Now we're going to look at what the computer is doing. You see it brought right into here, into the one that I told it. It brought that clip, and I told it to transcode, so it has started the transcoding process. This can take a while. So if you have a lot of clips and you want to get them all transcoded, you might want to bring them in and then go grab a cup of coffee or something. You don't have to wait for the transcoding to happen. I can play this back right away. Start looking at it, start doing whatever. But just know that will be happening in the background. See, it's already started. It's up to 2%. So that is the whole process of importing. Very easy. You just click on this button here, the little down arrow, navigate to wherever your file is that you want to bring it in, select it, make sure your settings are right here. Do make sure you have copy to library selected, and know how you want your transcoding to happen. That's just based on your setting, what is best for you. Click on import and it'll do it. And that's on importing footage. I think that's everything. We got through that pretty quickly. Now, onto stuff that you'll find more interesting. Thanks for watching this. I hope if it was helpful. If you liked it, please click on like. Please click subscribe. If you would like to know more, see more of my videos, click on the notify. It'll tell you when I'm online, or it'll tell you when I've uploaded something new. If you don't want to do that, it is no problem. I hope these videos are helpful and you enjoy them. But that's it for now. We will see you in video number 4. I'm out.